Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today, I'll be showing you the recap of a 2018 action crime film titled Sicario, Day of the Soldado. As always, spoiler alert, watch out, and take care. The movie opens with 4 suicide bombers entering a store in Kansas City. Shortly afterward, several explosions occur, resulting in the deaths of 15 people and leaving many injured. This terrorist attack wreaks havoc and is immediately addressed by the country's Secretary of Defense. He promises to deliver a retaliation that will send shivers down the terrorist's spine. After the address, one of the top CIA operatives, named Matt, is summoned to a high-profile meeting. A lead reveals that the bombers were smuggled in through the US-Mexico border, which is largely controlled by Mexican cartel that smuggle people into the United States. To counter the attacks, the administration is currently working on naming the cartels as one of the terrorist organizations, which will expand their jurisdiction to help deal with them. In the meantime, Matt has been tasked with a secret mission to investigate a fight between the cartels. This will make their attack more effective, as the cartels will already be disorientated. However, Matt will undertake the mission independently, as it's a dirty mission in and of itself. As he sets out to make arrangements for his crew, the movie cuts to the US-Mexico border. A young schoolboy named Miguel prepares for school with his siblings, but he doesn't board the school bus with them and is left behind. Shortly after, his cousin arrives in a cool car and picks him up, and they leave. It's revealed that the cousin works for one of the cartel groups named Matamoros and is on a recruitment mission to bring Miguel into the business. Seeing his cousin's flamboyant lifestyle, Miguel can't help but be tempted by his offer. Meanwhile, Matt is ready to begin his mission, but can't do so without his key ally. He heads over to Colombia to meet Alejandro, a former attorney whose life took a dark turn after the cartels eliminated his family for prosecuting some of their members. Since then, he became an operative and seizes any opportunity to seek revenge for his loss. It doesn't take long before they launch an attack on the Matamoros cartel, while impersonating a member of a rival cartel controlled by Carlos Reyes. They take out one of the top legal minds aligned with the Matamoros in broad daylight to create a scene. The crew then regroups to plan a retaliatory attack on Carlos while posing as a member of the Matamoros cartel. To escalate the situation, they target Carlos' daughter, Isabel, and plan to abduct her. This will provoke the cartels to retaliate and create chaos amongst them. On our way home from school, Isabel's convoy is attacked by Matt's group and subdued. Again, this is done in broad daylight to avoid suspicion of it being staged. Network jammers are used by Matt to disrupt signals, ensuring they leave peacefully as no backup is called by Carlos's men. Since Mexico is not a safe place to keep Isabel, they board a plane and leave. Alejandro takes Isabel to a remote location in Texas, where she is blindfolded and kept hidden. However, she cannot stay in the state for long, and they plan accordingly. Isabel requests to use the restroom, and is free to do so by one of the crew members. Meanwhile, Alejandro dresses up as a DEA official, and shortly afterward, DEA officials arrive at the house. They fake some shooting and Alejandro picks up Isabel, leading her to believe that it's a rescue mission from her abductors. They then head to a military camp to hide out before returning to Mexico. However, they will have to go through the Matamoros territory, where Reyes will likely use lethal force to get Isabel back. Meanwhile, Miguel has been moving in and out of the US as his cousin endeavors to give him more exposure. On one of his walks, he coincidentally bumps into Matt's crew, who almost crash into him. However, he doesn't make up a scene as they ring a siren insinuating that they are men in uniform. Later, Miguel's cousin introduces him to the cartel bosses, and he is eager to start working. Meanwhile, Alejandro tells Isabel that they plan to hand her over to the Mexican military, who will take her back home. Everyone dresses up for the occasion, including Isabel, as they head for Mexico before boarding their armored vehicles. They line up towards the border where they are joined by federal police. While receiving air support from Matt's crew, the convoy speeds up, while staying in check all along. Little do they know that the enemy that they are anticipating is from within all this time. An attack is launched by the federal police, who work hand in hand with the cartels. Matt is left with no option but to neutralize them, and his team gets to work. As they exchange fire in the heated battle, a troubled Isabel sneaks out of the vehicle and disappears into thin air. The situation calms down as Matt's team neutralizes them all, but it doesn't take long before realizing that Isabel is gone. Alejandro offers to remain behind and trail her, while the others head back to the US. As they are in a foreign land, it would be safer for them to leave after the occurrence. Matt offers him a GPS transmitter to activate when they reach the border for his team to pick them up. The team lines up and gets back home to nurse their injuries. On the other hand, Alejandro catches up with Isabel, and their bond grows with time. Alejandro sees his deceased daughter in Isabel, while Isabel sees a caring father figure in him. As night falls, the pair stumbles upon a remote house in a vast desert, occupied by hearing-impaired individuals who communicate solely through sign language. Luckily, Alejandro is proficient in sign language, having learned it for his own hearing-impaired daughter. The common ground between them earns the duo a warm welcome for the night. However, back in the United States, things take a turn for the worse for Matt's operation. The Secretary General orders him to end it and clean up the scene after an earlier incident painted an ugly picture. This includes eliminating Isabel and Alejandro, who both witnessed soldiers killing police officers. Despite this order, Matt secretly decides to protect Alejandro and immediately contacts him to share the information. Alejandro, who has grown fond of Isabel, vows to protect her at all costs. With their only way out of Mexico being smuggled by the cartels, the duo prepares themselves for their journey. Isabel trims her hair as Alejandro buries his artillery and uniform before leaving. Along the way, he activates the GPS transmitter and places it inside Isabel's shoe in case they are separated. The scene then cuts to Miguel, who is on his first mission, leading a group of immigrants into the US and successfully does so. He then gets a ride back to Mexico to join the group and receive his payment. Meanwhile, Alejandro makes his way to the place and awaits their turn. However, his plan is about to hit a dead end as Miguel spots him. After their encounter in Texas, Miguel blows Alejandro's cover and reports him to his bosses. Alejandro is cornered, and Isabel is taken away as he undergoes interrogation. They conclude that Alejandro works for Isabel's father and immediately decides to eliminate him. He is blindfolded and taped as they drive off to kill him. The leader orders newbies like Miguel to pull the trigger. When one of them is unable to do so, he is eliminated by the leader. All of this happens under the watch of Matt through satellite feeds. However, they are still 10 minutes away in the chopper and only wish for a delay till they can get there. Miguel is handed over the artillery and obviously doesn't gamble with it. After seeing his predecessor's fate, he drives one through his head, much to the shock of Isabel and Matt's team. Matt freezes for a minute as he can't fathom losing one of his best and closest allies. As they make their way to rescue Isabel, an angry Matt instructs his team to eliminate all the cartel members. Soon after, they catch up with them, and only Isabel is taken out alive. As per instructions from above, she was supposed to be killed as well, but Matt respects Alejandro's decisions to spare her. He plans to have her placed in witness protection. As the team heads back home, the scene cuts to Alejandro's lifeless body as blood freely oozes out. Suddenly, Alejandro moves, revealing that he's actually still alive, as the shot went through his cheek and struggles to crawl before freeing himself using a belt knuckle from one of the deceased goons. He slowly staggers his way out of the place and notices the scene that Matt cleared from a distance. He arms himself before leaving in one of the cars. He is attacked not long after, but takes care of the attacker before making his way out. The movie then cuts to a year later as we spot Miguel making his usual walks. He has now grown deep into the industry as his body is full of tattoos. He heads over to a mall where he usually receives his payments. However, upon opening the door this time, he is surprised beyond words to find Alejandro calmly waiting for him. Alejandro asks him to sit and poses a rhetorical question. So, you want to become a Sicario? The movie ends in suspense as Alejandro locks the door behind them, leaving us with speculations about what might have happened in the sequel. Thank you for tuning in. We really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content just like this. And if you have a movie you'd like us to recap, let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.